Welcome back to Fireside Yankees with Alex and Ryan. If you are listening to this via audio, I have a t-shirt on and it's how to make an old-fashioned. I just got to carry these ingredients around with me all the time because watching this team, you need liquor around you within 10 feet radius. Otherwise, you're going to be really disappointed. And yesterday's game was another chance for the liquor to start flowing. 12 innings. We burned through our whole bullpen just to lose. Ryan, I talked about yesterday how kind of series like this are ones you're going to face in the playoffs, right? Games just like this are ones that you're going to have to get through in the playoffs. The Yankees have now lost back-to-back extra inning games. They can't score when it matters most. They can't get the big hits when it matters most. Their pitching falls apart when it matters most. Luis Hill was knocked out after 3 runs. The bullpen stepped up and provided. Tim Hill played well. Mark Leiter Jr. looked really solid. Luke Weaver looked solid. Tommy Kahnle looked solid. And then Clay Holmes comes in, gets 3 Ks. You get everything you need to win this game, and the Yankees still can't push it over the edge. And, Cleveland burned through most of their bullpen too. But our bullpen, we use an extra 2 pitchers compared to them because, Boyd, their starter, went 5.1 innings. And, Hill kind of screws us and leaves with lower back tightness. Is this a Paul Pierce moment where he just kind of faked an injury to get out of it? I don't know. Doubt it. But we'll see what happens there. We'll keep you updated on the injury front. But, Ryan, yesterday's game, another demoralizing moment for this Yankee team. Another situation where you ask yourself, do they have what it takes to win in these critical components, these critical moments? And, right now they lack that extra gear. They have guys playing on this team. We're going to talk about 2 of them who cannot be in this lineup when the playoffs roll around. If they're in this lineup, I have zero faith. And look, anything can happen in the playoffs. Guys can get hot, but we're talking about a large sample size of absolute garbage, right? Just garbage. And you can't sustain it. The bottom half of this order is being absolutely destroyed and decimated by 2 specific hitters. Ryan, why don't you kick us off and tell us about these 2 guys, what they're doing to this team, the lapses, the inability to hit. They went 0 for freaking 11 last night, dude. 0 for 11 in 12 innings. They went 0 for 11 with 1 walk. That was the only thing they got from them. Even Jose Trevino had 3 walks yesterday. What do you do right now when you're looking at these 2 guys? The obvious solution is get Jazz back and promote the hell out of Jason Dominguez and keep him there. But want to hear your thoughts about Alex Verdugo and, of course, DJ LeMahieu if you haven't figured it out already.
So, and I made a promise to Alex I wouldn't flip or anything, and I'm not going to. I'm
actually very curious to see if this happens.
I'm sticking to that. The Yankees set a goal entering this season to win the World Series. They kind of do this every year, right? It's World Series or bust. Judge says it, if it's a failure if we don't win the World Series. Cashman says it's a failure if we don't win the World Series. Hal says it's a failure if we don't win the World Series. These are statements that are on record, right? That's kind of the MO of this team. That's kind of their mission statement going into every single season. If that's the priority, right? Winning a World Series, the actions don't necessarily reflect that to me, right? Look, they got Juan Soto. That's trying to go for it, right? Jason Dominguez should be up. Should be. Alex Verdugo is 2 for his last 20. I think it's 2 for his last 24. He has, having an abysmal month of August. The combination of LeMahieu and Verdugo have been atrocious since the start of July. In the 6th inning of yesterday's game, there's a right-handed pitcher in Nick Sandlin who has not really been throwing the ball well lately. His ERA on the season is not great. He's got a home run problem. I'm going to actually pull up his numbers over his last few innings entering last night's game, because I'm telling you guys, this is not a guy who is infallible. He had a 4 ERA and a 6.16 FIP, and you want to expand that further. Actually, I'm going to expand that really further. He has a 5.40 ERA since June 16th with a 6.88 FIP, a 3.24 home runs per 9. It's not good. The Yankees had him on the ropes. They get Volpe on, they get Trevino on. Again, credits to Torino for getting on 3 times. I think there are a lot of people who made a bigger fuss about Trevino playing. The guy who you got to have a fuss about playing is Verdugo and LeMahieu. But again, getting back to my point about this situation right here, Aaron Boone has Ben Rice on the bench. Granted, Ben Rice has not been hitting great lately, but the process at the plate, a lot of barrels, a lot of walks. It kind of reminds you of what happened with Austin Wells early in the year. Not great production, but the underlying numbers, the process at the plate was pretty good. And so you had hope and you had faith that he was maybe a tweak away from finding it. They actually both struggled with the same thing, and that's velo. And that's velo up in the zone, something that Wells made an adjustment for. I wrote about it. I did a video about it. He's taken off since then. He's been great. You have a left-handed hitter on the bench. That situation won out. I need Ben Rice in that game. You want to say you want to get Cabrera in the game? Fine, I want Cabrera in that game then. I need one of those 2 guys in this baseball game, Boone doesn't take LeMahieu out. For some reason, did you know this, Alex? DJ LeMahieu has a 387 OPS against left-handed pitching. Ben Rice is a 556, which is not good. I want to clarify, it's bad. It's not good. But it is better than DJ LeMahieu. So in the quest of playing your best players against left-handed pitching, LeMahieu shouldn't get a game. And again, playing against right-handed pitching, again, LeMahieu shouldn't get a game. Aaron Boone, he screwed the Yankees last night. In that specific situation, he mismanaged that game. And there are multiple situations where he could have pulled LeMahieu and brought in a different hitter, and he didn't. I don't care what his cachet is, what he's done with the Yankees prior to this season. He shouldn't be on this team. And then you look at Alex Verdugo, the guy's been atrocious in August. He's been atrocious since July. He's been awful. Jason Dominguez should be up. Don't tell me about service time. Don't tell me about the protected pick for next year, whatever it may be. I want to win baseball games. And in the quest of trying to win baseball games, Aaron Boone has failed when it comes to his play of LeMahieu. He's not responsible for Dominguez not playing. He can't control who comes up and who doesn't come up, so I'm not putting that on him. I want to clarify that falls on the front office. And then kind of the primary thing this all falls on, it falls on the players, right? Alex Verdugo is not, like, I don't get gamer from him. I don't feel like he's a gamer. Like, he's a dog. He barks. He doesn't strike me as a dog, though.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
No, he doesn't. And you know what? I want to throw in another thing here that really contradicts Boone in general. You know how he was talking about Anthony Volpe, how he's a 3-WAR player. He's, done all this stuff. If he's going to use specific metrics to justify the quality and value of a player, he can't just ignore it when it comes to anybody else, right? Alex Verdugo has a 0.3 WAR this season. DJ LeMahieu has a negative 0.5 WAR this season. If you're going to sit there and defend with gusto Anthony Volpe's WAR, and look, Volpe looked great last night. Volpe's a solid player, like great defender. Yes, there's offensive lapses. Yes, there's inconsistencies, but we think that the developmental traits are there. He's in his second year, guys. DJ LeMahieu's been in this league for like 15 freaking years. Alex Verdugo's been in this league for like 8 freaking years. This is not the same. These are not the same things. But if you're going to stand by Volpe and talk about his 3-WAR and talk about the metrics, you cannot ignore the same exact metrics for guys on your team, in your freaking lineup, who you refuse to pull. You can't just sit there and ignore them. Because DJ LeMahieu, by the numbers, is a negative asset to this team. He is a liability, which would be the synonym for negative asset. He is a liability on this team. He has hurt the Yankees half a game. He has lost them half a game. He has not added any value to this team. Every now and then having a big hit does not make you a good player, right? You can't just say, oh, but he had that really good hit in Wilmington. Guys, one good hit in the stretch of a month, 2-month period is like the bare minimum for a player. He is a 48 WRC plus player. He is 52% worse than the average MLB hitter, guys. This is a player that should not be sniffing the field. Why? Because the large sample of data suggests that he is a net negative. And the Yankees have better options. I'd rather Oswaldo Cabrera be playing first base. At least he's going to make contact. At least he's going to put the ball in play. At least he's hot right now. Instead, the Yankees continuously force-feed us guys that Boone is trying to snap out of cold streaks, despite a large sample suggesting they aren't going to do that. Verdugo isn't just going to go from an 84 WRC plus, I think it's 82 now, to a 110 WRC plus. It's not going to happen overnight. You know what I mean? Like, this is a problematic situation, Ryan. I want to get your take on that. Using one metric to justify a player's quality, but then ignoring the same metric when talking about Verdugo and LeMahieu, to me, is a problem. In fact, it really does defy logic. It's malpractice from Boone, in my opinion. It doesn't make any sense. How would you justify it?
Not only do I fully agree that it's malpractice to keep playing these two guys, I think, again, it flies in the face of saying World Series or bust. I have World Series aspirations for this team. I don't look at anybody in the American League and go, yeah, they're so much better than the Yankees. Look at everybody else and go, they're flawed. They could beat the Yankees, for sure. Like, they are on the same level as the Yankees. That's how I kind of view it, right? You're in a heated AL East race. Like, I don't know if people understand that not winning the division means playing a 3-game series. And this team has lost 3-game series to bad teams. They've played some bad 3-game sets against some bad, ugly, terrible teams. So, do I want to let this team get some 3-game variance to decide their season? No. Do I particularly think Aaron Boone is trying to not win the division? No, I don't think he's trying to win the division, but Is it his priority? I don't know. I don't know if that's his priority. I don't know if that's Brian Cashman's priority. I don't know how Aaron Boone's a manager, how Aaron Boone manages the dugout and all that stuff. And I don't like commenting on that because I think it's been publicly stated by players, by former players, by coaches, by people close to Boone that he is a lot tougher in the dugout. And just kind of seeing the way he interacts with media and umpires at times, you can see there's a little bit of I can see how he can get hot, right? He can get, I can tell there's a temper there. There's a little bit of attitude. But I mean, I almost don't care what he's saying to the players. I don't care if he's telling LeMahieu to get his head out of his rear end. I don't really care. He plays him, right? I don't care if he's coaching him tough. You want to coach him tough? Don't play him. There's not a situation where DJ LeMahieu should play. It's actually interesting. Defensively, -4 defensive runs saved, 0 outs above average. He kind of looks lost out there because he's such a bad athlete. He doesn't, and this is where I want to separate him and Verdugo in this one situation. DJ LeMahieu is slow. He can't, it's not that he's not hustling. He's slow. Can't really move, right? Alex Verdugo is actively not hustling. And I have a real bone to pick with the fact that the guy puts out really a disgraceful effort on the field, and he gets to play every day. There is no repercussions, and I get it. Boone said, things are different internally. I coach guys differently, and I, again, completely understand that. That guy is bad, and he doesn't hustle. At what point does it click to Alex Verdugo? Teams aren't going to offer you a big-time contract. You're costing yourself money. You're costing your team games. You're not playing well. You're not a dog. You're not a dog. I'll tell you what a dog looks like. A dog is a guy he's out there busting his what. He's playing his tail off. Volpe's struggling, but that man's a dog, right? He balls. He puts out all his effort. He's doing everything he can to fly around the infield and make plays where he can. How about a guy like Wells? That dude's a dog. Hell, even go a guy like Trevino. Those guys are catchers. Of course they're dogs, right? They're out there playing great defense. They're getting beat up behind the dish. They go Jazz is a dog, right? Judge is a dog. Soto's a dog, right? These are dogs, right? I'm not even saying just good players, right? You don't actually have to be a good player to be a dog. You know what I mean? Cabrera, that dude's a dog. He's got an 87 WRC plus, guys. We don't have to pretend he's a good hitter, right? He's 13. He's better. He's
in 280 since June.
He's actually pretty good against right-handed pitching. But I'm just saying, we don't have to pretend Oswaldo Cabrera is Aaron. Of course, Aaron Judge looks like a dog. The guy has a 2.9. He's a historically great hitter.
There's 3 players in one.
Right. I get that he's a dog because he's so good. But a guy like Cabrera, where his WRC plus is a few points higher than Alex Verdugo.
But he does whatever you need him to do.
Right. He's a dog. That guy's playing his tail off. That guy's giving me 100% effort,
gratitude,
effort. Ton of energy. Yeah, that dude plays like he is not going to be a Yankee tomorrow. Alex Verdugo plays like he's got a 10-year contract and he's in the middle of a 150 WRC plus season. Alex Verdugo's not a dog. He's
also not going to be a Yankee next year.
Right. So I'm just saying, Dominguez, dude, you got to call him up because I think he's the better player.
Agreed.
But also because, if, again, your goal is to win the World Series, Dominguez has to get going, right?
Dude, he has 9 hits in his last 4 games. He's going.
I'm just saying, it's got to happen at the major league level. He's got to
give him time. He needs time.
But if you give him 1 month to get it going, that may not be. Why not give him the extra 2 weeks to get it going? That's kind of my argument.
And I think that's a valid argument. My counter would be they're trying to control his service time, right? They're trying to, but he already has 0.3 years of service time. What would it be an extra 0.4, or 0.5? It's very marginal at most. I get they're trying to wait until that September service time date, or at least get as close to it as possible. But I agree with you. He needs a month. He needs weeks to get things going. But I do think that the Yankees are going to get exponentially more value from him than Verdugo. They're going to get the effort. They're going to get the desire. They're going to get the switch-hitting bat. They're going to get the power, right? That first Jason Dominguez home run at Yankee Stadium is going to electrify him. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys that gets better as he starts to hit. Once he gets hot, you watch it. I mean, you saw him at the minor league level, Ryan. When he gets hot, he stays hot. You know what I mean? This is a guy that, he gets there, he's not going back. And I think that that's something, and look, he might not do that at the major league level. Obviously, we don't know. But he got hot last year when he was called up, and he kind of was hot until he got hurt. I want to see if he can do it at the major league level. I want to see if he can maintain that. Dude, if he gets on base at a 30% clip, which is obviously not great, but he's hitting home runs pretty frequently and has a batting average of like 240, 230, but he's hitting home runs, you're going to get so much more value.
If he's a league average hitter, you're fine, right? Like, if he's a league average hitter, you're fine
already.
Right, exactly. And, you know, again, like, I kind of want to make this point as well. I feel like so many people throw kind of crap at the wrong players. Like, why is there discourse about whether Volpe should be demoted or not? That's not the guy I'm looking at. It's ridiculous. No. He's not like the least of our problem.
He's the least of our issues right now.
If Anthony Volpe was the 9-hitter, we would be calling him a great player. The reason he's being criticized is because the Yankees couldn't surround Judge and Soto with enough good bats. Because Verdugo stinks. Because LeMahieu stinks. That's why the criticism's there. Because Glaber's fallen off a cliff. That is why there's a greater emphasis on Volpe being a good hitter. That's not Anthony Volpe's problem. I'm not saying that Anthony Volpe's a polished hitter, that he's a good hitter, that he's an impressive hitter. But he's a good baseball player. He's got a 3.2.
His double play last night
saved the game. It saved the game. They should have won the game. They should have won the game because of Anthony Volpe's triple, his RBI double, excuse me.
He didn't even score.
And his Game 7 play. Yeah, he was...
He was right next to the fucking first... Sorry, I'm sorry, but he was right next to first base. He was right next to first base. He doesn't step on the bag. Brother, what are we doing here?
The double clutch to go home?
Dude, he's like a 10-year veteran, and he's not stepping on first base. It's 1 foot away. What are we doing here? Lapses in judgment that cannot be justified anymore.
That might be just a lack of athleticism. The guy may not be able to go make the step and make an off-balance
throw. You have to try. You have to try.
I'm not saying... I don't disagree.
No, I know.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying the guy might be such a bad athlete that he's not capable of doing that. And I say bad athlete relative to, of course, his contemporaries.
But meanwhile, he deserves every opportunity ever, right?
Why can't Ben Rice figure it out at the major league level? Like, what is the harm? Like, what's the harm?
There's no downside.
He's a better hitter right now. Like, he's slumped. Like, there's no, like you mentioned, there's no harm in it. There's nothing bad that's gonna come out of it because LeMahieu's so bad. And I again, like, this part does come back down to Aaron Boone. Dude, you've got to let go of this attachment to LeMahieu, man. And look, maybe Cashman's got to step in and just go, pull a scene from Moneyball, where the manager wants to play Pena instead of Hatterberg, and he's like, I traded Pena. Yep. I can't trade LeMahieu. Cut him. Get him out of here. I don't know what it has to take,
dude.
But and I will say this too: winning the World Series, like that's all that matters. And it's still a very realistic goal. The Yankees are tied in loss column with the Orioles. Like, they're half a game out because the Orioles have played 127 games. The Yankees have played 126. That kind of thing. Yesterday it sucks because that was a winnable game. You'd still be a game up in the division. That kind of thing. But Alex, as it pertains to where the Yankees want to go in 2024 and 2025, whatever it may be, you win the World Series and it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. Nothing in this nobody in this fan base is gonna care. Nobody's gonna care about the time Boone didn't pinch hit for LeMahieu. What the 2025 projected win total is. No one's gonna care. You're gonna have to bury me in down that parade. You're gonna have to bury me there. You're gonna have to bury me. I'll never leave. I'll stay there forever. I'm just saying, like, this team has, I think, enough pieces to win the World Series. I understand not having Jazz hurts them, and hopefully they get him back, although I don't think they'll get him back after the 10-day IL stint. I think it'll be a little more time. But it's go time. If it's not go time, it wasn't go time yesterday. I don't know when it's going to be go time. If Verdugo's not busting it down for the first base line, kickoff August, he's not turning it around. That guy, I'm not saying he doesn't care. I'm just saying, like, the effort level's got to be there. If the time for LeMahieu to get it going wasn't 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, dude, he has like a 40-something WRC plus since that 6 RBI game. He's been abysmal since then. He hasn't found it. So, again, these are human beings. These are players. Like, great respect for what LeMahieu did as a Yankee. Verdugo's had a strong career as a major leaguer. He's gonna be a 7-year major leaguer, 6-year major leaguer, something along those lines. It's tough to stay in the league that long. It is. It really is. I'm not trying to take. I'm not even trying to, like, be an a-hole here. Like, I'm being serious. Like, it does take a lot to do those things, and I get it. But I'm sorry. I need to win a World Series, and these guys probably have a lot of respect in that clubhouse, but they gotta go, man. They've got to go. It's got to happen now. I want to win baseball games. I want to win baseball games. I don't want to win a popularity contest. I want to win baseball games, man.
Me too. And listen, right now, thinking about this first base position, are they planning to put Rizzo back in there? You know what I mean? Like, is that our best option? It's Ben Rice, DJ LeMahieu, or Rizzo. I don't necessarily know what the right choice is there. That's like a really hard one because, like, obviously Ben Rice, you look at him and you say, there's upside, but trusting him in a playoff situation may be too much to instill that trust. Rizzo, who's lost all of his power, is still working his way back. Do we trust Rizzo to bounce back? And he has the experience, obviously. I just don't know what the solution is. And DJ just cooked. Verdugo is cooked. The thing is, the Yankees don't owe any loyalty to Verdugo. And that's kind of where I stand on that, is like, they don't owe him anything. He's gone after this year. He's in a contract year. Why are they so adamant about playing this guy? I think you would rather see Trent Grisham there, right? Like, at least he gets on base and does something good. I got thrown out yesterday, but obviously it happens, lapses in judgment, and the Yankees have far too many. They should have won that game. Sloppy baseball lost them that game, right? But it's interesting, right? This Yankee team right now, I don't necessarily know what the solution is for them at some spots, but there is a couple, and it's Jason Dominguez in left field, and first base is anybody but DJ LeMahieu. Anybody. I'd rather also.
I'm in anybody. I'm in anybody but DJ territory too, and I also want to throw this out here. Like, I hope that back thing for Heel isn't bad, because like starting pitching's also kind of been an issue. I know he was a little wild he was very wild last night. Hopefully he's fine, because if it's bad, then that could be bad for the Yankees. I don't think there's any imaging that's going to be there. I think it's like a day-to-day thing, but like, as you mentioned, like, you almost kind of pray it was Heel going, hey, I'm not feeling great, and Boone's like, all right, you know what, let's just pull you, right? Like, it's fine. Well, you need the time off probably anyways. Let's get you, what I mean? Let's get you off your feet for a little bit, that kind of thing. Paul Pierce. I hope if it was Luis Heel having to use the bathroom, that would have been funny. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember when Chapman like took a dump in his pants basically during a game, like, and like that was why he was making that weird face? Do you remember
diapers?
That? Yeah, I mean, maybe Luis Heel. Maybe Luis
Extra
Heel knows. Jesus Christ, I'm not eating lunch today. But no, in all seriousness though, like, dude. It's so hard with like this season in particular. Like, everything's just it changes every day, right? Like, 3 days ago they were on top of the world. 3 days later they're in second place. So it's like,
yeah. I mean, look, baseball is a game of ebbs and flows. The Yankees have just been a lot more ebbs than good flows recently. So it really does come down to getting hot at the right time. They have a month and a week, 5 weeks left to get things right. But they have to get it right first and foremost. And what that looks like is the whole team contributing, the momentum building, the confidence growing. Right now, it's one day you're scoring 10 runs, the next 3 you're scoring 2 runs. And one day you're scoring 5 runs, the next day you're scoring 0 runs. Or you're blowing a save. They're losing these close games, dude. You know what I mean? In their last 3 games, they've lost 2 extra innings games. They can't afford to spend their whole bullpen and lose these games. They need guys to step up. Volpe stepped up. They just couldn't punch him in, right? Peraza even had a single yesterday. So, like, you look at Verdugo and DJ LeMahieu, they go 0 for 11 in a walk. From 2 of your most seasoned veterans. 2 guys supposed to be critical pieces in your equation, and they are nowhere to be seen. And it's not just a one-game thing. It's a full season thing. Changes need to be made. Aaron Boone needs to wake up and smell the roses, my friend. Because I think that if he doesn't make the right decisions, his job should be on the line. You know what I mean? I think that it's unacceptable to be this flip-floppy. You can't lean into a metric for one player and then ignore it for 2 others. One of them, Volpe's so good. He's a 3-WAR player, but by the way, DJ LeMahieu is a negative WAR player. Like,
yeah,
he's
I'm gonna be
losing
honest.
games.
I honestly don't disagree. Like, if the Yankees, if Aaron Boone is going to tie his season to a guy like DJ LeMahieu, he's gotta go. I don't like saying that. I don't love saying it, but
it's tough. If you have a manager that can't help you win games, when you have Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, can't help you make the right decisions to put you in a better position to win games, discipline your players, right? And, demand excellence. You hear about, like, these great players and whatnot. They demand excellence out of each other, right? You heard Jeter talk about it, right? You heard at Fanatics Fest. You heard Jeter talk about it, demanding excellence from each other. Winning is not a choice. It's a mentality, right? You know what I mean? You have to have the mentality to win. The Yankees do not have that at a lot of spots. Alex Verdugo does not have a winning mentality, right? DJ LeMahieu is not athletic enough to win baseball games for you. You just don't have it at some positions, and unfortunately, that comes down to coaching at times and making the right choices and, you know, playing the game. And listen, I know Boone is like the most winning coach in Yankee history, whatever, but you can thank Aaron Judge for that, not Aaron Boone. You know, you can thank Garrett Cole for that, not Aaron Boone.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
he gets credit. He gets credit, but the players are playing. He's the one deciding what players play, and his decisions are losing us baseball games right now in critical moments. We haven't made it to a World Series in over a decade, my friend. That is unacceptable for a team that has a $300 million payroll.
Yeah, I was just going to say this. Like, you know, it also comes down to roster construction, right? Like,
yeah,
you know, it's well, and then you can, you know, kick that up to you kick it up to at some point you have to kick it up to, you know, Cashman. Like, hey, why does this team lack offensive depth, right? I get, you know, Glaber isn't having the year you hoped you'd have. I get that, but like, that doesn't excuse LeMahieu being your third baseman, right? Like, there are things where it's like, all right, what's going on? Why is the roster?
They tend to do things. They wait too long to make decisions.
Yeah.
Right? They wait too long to trade specific players. They wait too long to make the necessary adjustments and trades. They wait too long to acquire guys. We ended up with Marcus Stroman this past offseason. I know we wanted Marcus Stroman. We were happy to get him, but it's because we passed on all the other best options. We just wait too long. You know what I mean? Yes, we got Juan Soto. That was a great one, and I'm really glad that we got him. Obviously, he's going to be here for a very, very long time. But at a lot of pinnacle moments, a lot of critical moments throughout a season, the Yankees are last to the bucket, right? They get there and they make the big splash move, but it's all the details, right? It's all the details that going on in between. And look, winning is great, and we win a lot of regular season games, but we don't win playoff games, and that's all that matters. Like, what is Aaron Boone's playoff winning percentage? That's what I want to know. It's negative because they lose them, right? They're losing them. So he has a negative win percentage in the postseason. Why is that? Why does he have such a big positive one in the regular season, but a losing one in the postseason?
I don't know if it's in like I will say, like, I don't. Sometimes I wonder whether it's in-game decision making or just like the raw. Like 2022, I don't think he lost it because he was a bad manager. I think he lost it because that team was just not as good as the 2022 Astros. And again, that comes down to roster construction. Like I'm gonna bend the knee and say that's roster construction, right? Like that's who you have to go at. That's what you have to go after. And I fully agree in the sense of like, hey, like, I'm not blaming the manager when LeMahieu doesn't play well, right? Like, Aaron Boone can't hit for DJ.
I'm blaming him for playing at all.
Exactly. It's not that you blame a manager for a guy not playing well, right? Like, he can't hit for LeMahieu. You can't pitch for Mark Leiter Jr. He can't do. I mean, Mark Leiter had a good outing yesterday, but you know, you get what I'm saying, right? No, I'm just giving you like an example. He can't hit for Verdugo. He can't, try to step on first base for LeMahieu. He can't do those things. He can't try to bunt a guy over. But what Boone can do is stop playing LeMahieu, is stop playing Verdugo. Those are some of the things he can do, and those are some things he hasn't done. So that's where mine should come into play. And it's weird because I actually like when his bullpen decisions for the most part. I think in-game managing, like bullpen decisions, I'm usually pretty good with those. I think he, for the most part, presses the right buttons. I'm sure there are some things I've disagreed with before, and there are things we're going to disagree with in the future. But the thing that's really killing me right now is just, dude, the guys you're playing, excuse me. They can't play, right? You gotta stop. It's a loyalty to certain guys. And him saying after the game, like, we've got to grind it through with LeMahieu. No, you don't. You don't have to. You don't have to do anything. You can wake up tomorrow and say, you know what, Cabrera's starting at first. You know what, Rice is starting at first. There are things you can do, and it's not playing LeMahieu. So, that's kind of I think that's the only thing I'm stuck on with Boone, where it's like, dude, this guy shouldn't play, and you didn't pinch hit for him. You don't try to get him out of the game. You try to get him into games, and that's not cool with me. I don't think that's cool, man. I don't think that's good managing. I think that's something that he's got to at some point he's got to answer to. He's got to answer to why he plays a bad player in matchups where he's not even the best player available there. So yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Dude, my favorite quote and I'm going to end it on this because we've been going over 30 minutes. I think you guys get the point. My favorite Aaron Boone quote from yesterday, and the word he used is detested. He says about DJ LeMahieu, "I know he's working his tail off to get it right and be a contributor. At this point, we have to keep grinding with him." Dude, no, you don't. You don't have to keep grinding with him. Why do you think that? Why is it that we have to keep using the old car whose engine and transmission are shot? Why do we have to keep using the Toyota Camry from 1989? Why can't we buy the new car? Why, or not buy the new car, but let's even use the RAV4 from 2000. Let's use the new car that we don't necessarily know if it's any good yet. Like Ben Rice. I really just don't get it. I really don't get this desire to just force feed players who are not performing well. You see it in any other sport, man. I mean, I can't talk much about the Giants because they force Daniel Jones all the time. But, eventually you make the decision. Like, okay, the thing about football is that there's 18 games or 17 games, right? And it's a small enough sample size that you want to see how guys progress. But guys, Ryan, DJ LeMahieu has played, 62 games this season. Alex Verdugo has played 120. Have we not seen enough? Have we not gotten to the bottom of the equation here? Have we not gotten the solution that we need? That these guys are not just going to magically turn it around when it matters? You know what I mean? They're performing like this in the regular season when guys ramp it up and pitching becomes even more difficult. Are we really going to sit here and pretend that they're going to play well? It would be a miracle if they turned it around in the playoffs. You need to start preparing alternative options, and they mean leaning on some young guys, whether it's Ben Rice, Jason Dominguez, Oswaldo Cabrera. Have to. Why, Ryan, why is it that Peraza is playing third base, but DJ LeMahieu is still on the field? You know what I mean? Peraza is a below-average minor leaguer.
For him, and the inning after they didn't pinch hit for LeMahieu. Again, Peraza, I do not think he's a good hitter.
Mind-boggling, dude.
I want to clarify. Don't think Peraza is particularly a good hitter. I don't.
Average minor league hitter.
Right, I don't think he's a good hitter. I want to clarify this, right? But
he could run.
His career WRC plus is 75, which isn't very good. That's higher than DJ LeMahieu's WRC plus this year by considerable margin. 30%. Right, it's one of those things where it's like he may not actually be good, and I don't really think he's good, but there is a chance he's good. And that chance is probably higher than DJ LeMahieu's. It's probably considerably higher than DJ LeMahieu's right now.
Run, dude. At least he can.
Yeah, you could just have him go, hey, bunt a guy over, do something like that. Can LeMahieu bunt a guy over? Are you confident LeMahieu can bunt a guy over?
The cataracts won't let him.
Dude, he's just old. He's old. He's so old.
He is old. He's cooked, man. He's gassed. We're talking 36 years old, multiple foot injuries. He doesn't move the same way.
It's kind of unfair to him. It's not like he's trying to play every day. He can't. He's not trying. I mean,
they just keep giving him. He's like, crap. I guess I'll keep playing then.
I'm not saying he doesn't want to play. I'm saying it's not like he's making the decision to play. He doesn't. It's not in his hands. He's controlling what he can control, which is what he. It's like he's choosing to be old. It's like he's choosing to get hurt. I'm not trying to say he's.
Here's my problem.
You know what I mean?
My problem with DJ LeMahieu is that aside from the lack of athleticism, which does play into this equation, I do believe, at least in a way, he has one of the lowest percentile bat speeds in baseball, which doesn't define good and bad. But when you pair it with a lack of ability to make quality contact, you become you're horrible. Or run. If you can't run, can't hit with power, and have the slowest bat speed in baseball, you are just going to be a disaster to any equation. Yeah. It's just the way it is. It's just it's not us. Yeah, we're criticizing DJ LeMahieu, but it's not his fault, a lot of it, right? He is just old. He can't help it. He's just slow. He's just nursing 2 back-to-back serious foot injuries. What are we gonna do?
The best way to put it is that we're not trying to question the integrity or the effort level or the person that is DJ LeMahieu.
Physically.
We're just saying he's not a good player anymore. I think that's such an important distinction to make when criticizing a player. Verdugo, I actually do have some concerns with the effort level, but again, I'm not gonna. He's a professional athlete. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that there's no work he puts in. I don't know what he does behind the scenes, so I'm not gonna comment on that. But again, these guys are good.
I mean, Ryan, we're talking about a player that went from slightly above average for 5 straight seasons. He was about average last year to a player that is now 18% below average.
He can at least run hard to first.
Dude, he has at least run hard to below 30% for the first time in his career. It's actually at 29% now. I do not understand what is happening. I mean, we're talking about a guy that has an ISO power of 128, the lowest in his career. What has happened to him? And he's had this allergy to batting gloves for 3 years. This isn't a new thing. We're not going to blame that. He just isn't playing well, and his confidence is cooked. The Yankees need to give him some time off, and that ultimately means, let's see if Jason Dominguez can win that job. And
I really hated hearing him say that blowout loss to the White Sox was just another game. That really, really rubbed me the wrong way.
I mean, dude, Aaron Judge advocated for him. I think it's time for Aaron Judge to put him in his place now.
Yeah,
like,
I want to say this too.
Step that up.
I'm gonna say this, and this is how I'm gonna. Because I'm sorry that I've been rambling. I know we said we're gonna end it here and there, whatever it may be. But like, this is something I do want to make sure I say. Derek Jeter was a 5-time World Series champion. He got input on things. LeBron gets to basically be the GM of the Lakers. LeBron is a 4-time NBA World Champion. Aaron Judge has not won a World Series with the Yankees. We don't have to sit here and pretend like he should get say on like who they acquire. We shouldn't. Right. We don't have to pretend that should be the case. We don't have to sit here and pretend that guy gets to make a decision on whether Alex Verdugo, like if the Yankees acquired Alex Verdugo because Aaron Judge's boy, Aaron Judge have an answer for that. Like, I'm sorry, you shouldn't have input like that. You shouldn't have input on player acquisition, like to make sure a player gets acquired. Now, if they're like, hey, what do you think about Verdugo? He's like, I think he's a good player. Like, all right, cool, we're acquiring him. That's fine. But if he's like, hey, we should go get Alex Verdugo, and Brian Cashman's like, all right, we'll make it happen. That's on, you know, all due respect. He's a 0-time World Series champion. They're not 4-time World Series champion LeBron James. You're not 5-time World Series champion Derek Jeter. You're 0-time World Series champion Aaron Judge. One of the best players I'll ever see in my lifetime. But he's not the GM of this team. So, you know, organizationally, that's a little concerning. Now, again, this is theorizing here. We don't actually know what Aaron Judge said. So, you know, we're not trying to say Aaron Judge is a terrible leader or whatever. Maybe Aaron Judge is a great leader. Aaron Judge leads his team great. He's a phenomenal baseball player. I am so proud to be able to root for Aaron Judge on my baseball team. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Wouldn't trade him for the world, right? But hey, like some of those, like that can't happen. Aaron Judge can't be inputting on, like, if that is happening, Aaron Judge can't be sitting here and going, hey, I want to go get this guy. Let's go get this guy. And the guy sucks. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I can't happen. That can't happen.
Yeah, I mean, listen, right now, the Yankees have a lot of decisions to make, and I think there's some really obvious ones, like ones that we've been calling for a long, long time, and they have to make, and they will end up making. And here's the thing, Ryan, we're pretty on par with what's going on. Like, we really do. A lot of what we say ends up happening, but the Yankees, are slow to the punch. They're slow to the bucket. They're last to the bucket. The run to the litter. A lot of times when it comes to making decisions they need to make now, if they plan on calling up Jason Dominguez and they want to give him a substantial amount of reps to get things, you know, get things going, really get hot, they're not going to care about his freaking service time if they make it to the World Series. You know what I mean? If they make it to the World Series and Jason Dominguez is mashing and he's their leadoff man, he's hitting from both sides of the plate, and he's giving them exponential offensive value, I don't give two craps about what his service time looks like if he helps us even get to a World Series. Even if we lose in the World Series, I don't care if he helps us get there, right? Like, as long as you can get there, you have a chance at winning. And this is the truth, though. Like, if the Yankees are going to keep shooting themselves in the foot, something needs to change up top. I mean, look, Cashman's made some moves. This team is good enough to win. But they are in disarray at the coaching level in a lot of ways. Like, and I think it's Aaron Boone that needs to step up and demand excellence from these players. Lack of effort is if like what he did to Gleyber Torres, Ryan, and he benched him mid-game, and Gleyber's been better since then, or like marginally, but he's been better. Why is Verdugo still getting so much slack? You know, why is Verdugo able to say the things he does and not hustle the way he does and still get away with it and get those starts? Like, he favors certain players so oddly, and it's like,
dog, if Gleyber Torres hustled as little as Alex Verdugo hustles, that man wouldn't be playing here. Dude, he wouldn't be here. Dog, his ass would have been sent out.
I don't get it. I really don't understand.
I ruined it. I said, damn.
I told you couldn't make it.
Damn. Damn.
Good thing I have this ingredients for the old fashioned on my shirt.
Yeah, I'm 19. I can't even work on that. I can't even handle business there.
We can make you a mocktail. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
you may. I'm a huge mocktail guy.
What is an old fashioned mocktail? Doesn't sound too good though.
Yeah, dude. I will say that I'm more, when it comes to those mocktails, give me them fruity ones, man. I like those really sweet ones. Like I'm different with coffee, but like I don't care if it makes me less of a man, dude. Give me my strawberry.
Those in the comments, please roast this man.
Give me some strawberry. Give me some sweetener in there. Get me some. I want my little umbrella. Let me get my pink. Oh god, dog. I want my thing to be colorful. I want it to be beautiful to look at. I want my drink to be beautiful to look at.
The way you want the Yankees to look, a little fruity and colorful, right?
See, okay, there's some people going to take that the wrong way. We are literally talking about fruits. We are actually talking about like strawberries, watermelon.
Just to clarify, yeah.
Yes, to clarify, because I realize I'm hearing us say, I'm like, man, someone's gonna take this the wrong way. No, I genuinely mean I like fruit punch is what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm a big fruit punch guy. Like I have some tropical punch in my fridge. I'm gonna drink some after this episode. That kind of thing. I'm a Sunkist guy. I am
That's
a Sunkist guy.
Dude.
I'm a cherry Coke guy. Like
dude,
I like
Sunkist is like artificial orange juice.
That's fine.
It's like fake orange juice, bro. It's like high fructose corn orange juice.
I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I may not be here when I'm 50, but
the Yankees keep doing what they're doing. I think I'm gonna die of a heart attack.
I might get gray hairs with this team. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. That's all I got. So I'm gonna stop talking so I don't say anything damning.
All right, guys. Well, you heard it here first. Ryan likes his drinks fruity and punchy. Always happy to hear what your favorite drinks are in the comment section. Maybe a good bourbon, something we can enjoy after a Yankee win, and maybe a Yankee loss. Always happy to hear your thoughts down below. As always, my friends, make sure to like and subscribe as always. And we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.
Perfect.